All right, everybody, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive.
Always ready to dive in.
Well, today's going to be a fun one. We're looking at some really cool tech in the film and animation world.
Oh, yeah. Stuff that could, totally change how characters are, brought to life on screen.
You got it.
Awesome.
And the really exciting part, we're talking fresh news, a brand new announcement straight from Runway Research.
Yeah, they've just unveiled this AI tool called Act 1.
Act 1, okay, so for anyone who hasn't heard of it yet, Act 1 is all about making these crazy, realistic, super expressive character animations. But here's the kicker. All you need to give it is a simple video. No fancy motion capture suits, none of that complicated setup.
It's a game changer. I mean, think about the traditional animation pipeline. It's a beast.
Oh, you know what?
Time-consuming, expensive, all that specialized equipment. You need teams of animators slaving away on every tiny movement.
Whole production, for sure.
Yeah, but Act 1, just grab a video of an actor's performance. Even from a single camera, you're good to go.
And the AI behind it, it's not just mimicking, right? It's understanding the performance, the nuances.
Exactly, like those little micro-expressions, eye movements, the pacing, even how they deliver the lines. It's all captured.
So it's way beyond what those old motion capture systems could do.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Remember how stiff and robotic those characters always looked?
Absolutely.
Act 1 is completely different. This is deep-level analysis, picking up on subtleties we might not even consciously register.
Wow.
And the best part, because it's AI, it's constantly learning, evolving. The more it sees, the better it gets at understanding performance.
So think about what this means, especially for independent filmmakers, right? People who maybe couldn't afford big-budget animation before.
This could be their chance to finally bring those ambitious projects to life, without needing major studio backing.
It's leveling the playing field.
Exactly.
And they're not just talking about, basic movements either. The examples Runway showed off are pretty wild.
Oh, yeah, the examples are incredible.
They showed how you can take a video of someone just driving, something super simple, and use that to animate a fully realized character.
It's amazing. And what blows me away is the animated character can be totally different from the actor, physically, I mean, different proportions, the whole thing.
So many possibilities.
Endless.
And then there was that multi-camera dialogue scene they showed. One actor driving the performance of two completely different generated characters, each with their own unique look and personality.
Oh, right.
They just blew my mind.
It really highlights the potential, What if one talented actor could basically portray a whole cast?
Whoa. Or filmmakers could create characters without needing to physically cast anyone.
Yeah, no more casting calls for those roles.
Okay, but now let's get to the important part. Safety. This is powerful stuff. And we've all seen how AI can, go a little sideways sometimes.
Right, yeah, totally.
So what are they doing about that?
Well, the good news is Runway seems really committed to responsible AI development. They've built in some serious safeguards.
Like what? Give us some specifics.
So, for starters, they've got systems to stop anyone from trying to use public figures without permission, to prevent those deepfake situations. And they're also really strict about making sure users have the rights to use any custom voices they create on the platform.
So they're trying to keep Act 1 on the, let's say, the for good side of things.
Exactly. And it's not just a set it and forget it kind of thing either. They're constantly monitoring for any misuse, even stuff they haven't thought of yet, trying to stay ahead of the curve.
That's good to hear. But I feel like we've only just scratched the surface here.
We have so much more to unpack. Welcome back. Ready to dig deeper into Act 1.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Last time we talked about what it is, this AI that creates these realistic animations. But now I want to know, how does it actually work? What's the magic behind it?
Well, you're right to call it magic because it's pretty amazing stuff. Basically, Act 1 uses these advanced machine learning models, and they've been trained on tons and tons of video footage, massive amounts, and also all kinds of data about how humans move.
So it's learned how real people move, how they express themselves, and then it uses that to, make these characters come to life.
Exactly. But it's not just copying movements. It's way more sophisticated than that.
Okay, good. Because that's what always bugged me about those old motion capture systems, where they cover the actors in sensors.
Yeah.
The characters always look so stiff and robotic.
Totally. And that's because those older systems, they often missed those little details,
Yeah.
That human touch that makes a performance feel real. But Act 1 is different. It analyzes the video on a deeper level, picking up on stuff we might not even notice ourselves.
It has a sixth sense for performance or something.
Yeah, kinda. And because it's AI, it keeps getting better. The more it learns, the more performances it sees, the better it gets at capturing those nuances.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. Like, something as complex as a human performance can be, I don't know, understood and recreated by an algorithm.
It's a testament to how far AI has come, especially in computer vision, AI's ability to make sense of images and video, it's evolving so fast.
Okay, let's get practical for a second. Let's say I'm a filmmaker, right, with a small budget.
Mhm.
How would using Act 1 actually change things for me?
Well, imagine this. You've got your story, you've written your script, but hiring a whole team of animators, it's just not possible, money-wise.
Happens all the time.
Right. But with Act 1, you could film your own performance footage, maybe even be the actor yourself, just a single camera, some basic lighting, and you're set.
So no more needing those expensive motion capture studios
Well,
or spending weeks and weeks on animation.
nope. Act 1 streamlines everything. You capture the performance, feed it to the AI, and let it work its magic. Of course, you'll probably still want to do some tweaking afterward,
Yeah.
polish the animations, add special effects. But the AI has done the hard part.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Especially for indie creators who don't have those big studio resources. It really does level the playing field.
And it opens up so many creative doors. Like, filmmakers could experiment with character designs and movements that would have been impossible or way too expensive to do before.
It's like every filmmaker now has their own personal animation studio.
Exactly. And it's not just filmmakers either. Think about video games, virtual reality. Even educators could use this to create really engaging learning tools.
Wow, so this could be a game changer for a lot of industries, not just film.
No, absolutely. It's still early, but it's clear that Act 1 is a big leap forward for animation, for creative content, for all of it.
Yeah, it really feels like we're just at the beginning of something big here. But like with any powerful new tech, we've got to think about the ethical side of things too, right?
You're absolutely right, and that's exactly what we'll be diving into next. The potential impact of Act 1, the good and the, well, maybe not so good.
The stuff we need to be careful about.
Exactly. Stay with us.
All right, welcome back to the Deep Dives. So we've been talking about Act 1, this incredible new tool that could really change how we think about animation.
Yeah, and I think in this last part, it's important to step back a bit and think about, the bigger picture, what kind of impact might this tech have on the world? Not just the cool creative stuff, but the whole picture.
Right, because it's not all going to be sunshine and rainbows, is it?
Well, there are definitely some challenges to consider.
Okay, so where do we even begin?
Well, one of the most obvious things is how it might affect the animation industry itself. Act 1 could really shake things up, like how things are done, how businesses work, all of that.
Yeah, we talked before about how this could be huge for independent filmmakers and smaller studios, giving them access to stuff they couldn't afford before. But what about the big animation studios? The ones with tons of artists and those established ways of doing things. How's this going to affect them?
It's a good question. And it's possible that some roles within those big studios, they might change. People might need to adapt, learn new skills as they figure out how to use this new tech.
Right, there's always an adjustment period with any big tech shift, isn't there?
Exactly. I mean, it's happened throughout history. But when you look at Act 1 specifically, I think it's actually more about creating new opportunities than, taking jobs away.
Okay, how so?
Think about it. Animators could be freed from some of the more boring, repetitive tasks, the stuff that takes forever, and then they could focus on the higher level creative work, the stuff that really needs that human touch.
So it's more like empowering them to be even more creative.
Yeah. And who knows what kind of crazy new animation styles we might see as artists start experimenting with Act 1, pushing its limits. It could be a whole new wave of artistic expression.
It's like giving them a superpower.
Right. And it's not just about the creative side either. I mean, Act 1 could make animation so much more affordable, so more accessible.
Yeah, that's huge.
It opens up opportunities for creators from all over the world, people who maybe didn't have the resources before. We could see stories and perspectives that we've never even heard before.
That's a powerful thought. But of course, we can't just ignore the potential downsides.
Right.
We've talked about some of the ethical concerns, like what about deep fakes, misuse of the tech, all that stuff.
Those are real concerns, no doubt. And it's great that we're talking about them. Thankfully, it seems like Runway is taking it seriously.
Yeah.
They've got those safeguards in place, those monitoring systems like we talked about before.
Yeah, trying to prevent the bad stuff from happening.
Exactly. But I think it's important to remember this isn't just on one company. It's a challenge for all of us. figuring out how to use powerful tech responsibly.
It's like uncharted territory, and there's always going to be someone trying to take advantage.
Right. Sadly, yeah. So we need to be having these open conversations, about the ethics of AI as a whole.
It's a bigger issue than just this one tool.
For sure. We need to be thinking long-term, working together to figure out clear guidelines, regulations, so that all these cool new technologies, they're used for good.
Right, for the benefit of everyone, not just a few.
Exactly. And it's tough. There's no easy answers, but that's why these conversations are so important.
Well, I think it's safe to say we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. Act 1, it's definitely a game changer. I mean, who knows what the future of animation will look like now, right?
It's an exciting time to be a creator, that's for sure.
I'm excited to see what people come up with. But for now, that's it for our deep dive.
Thanks for joining us, and as always, we encourage you to check out the original announcement, do your own research, and see where this new tech takes us.
Until next time, keep diving.